Oh, yo, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to another episode. It's episode 53, Boys Rachorufamba. It's another episode of Boys Repa Bridge, bringing you that bridgeocracy. Unfortunately, in this episode, my brother is not here because you remember that thing that we were talking about last week. Some of those things have started happening. Saka tanga tori parodhi yekuenda kubridge then ndokwanza ukouya ka mukomana wabridge uyaningirana. So I had to call in a super sub last minute kuti ona ka I know kuti vanhu havabhilieve kuti iwe uri pabridge but undokuziva wakaderwa pabridge uya timbotandira pabridge. So we have a special guest filling in for Mr. Chirisa, but before we do that we need to verenga mari zvipo because chinonetsa ndechekuti mukaintroducisa munhu mozotanga kutaura mari iri mumhuri yekuti maita that there's a reason why church guest pastor anoannounce after offering anoona because mukama-announce before offering anofunga kuti ari included pane zvaitika izvi anoona saka just want to give a few shout outs to vanhu vakatisapota pamacoffees. Big shout out to my Jew hanzi guys, I'm sorry this is long overdue. Tithe, you guys have been keeping me entertained during my maternity leave and I look forward to every episode. Congrats on 50 plus and we appreciate the consistency. King, I watched the propaganda tour and I laughed from start to finish. Monashi, I hope the top secret thing you mentioned last episode comes through for you. Makoro Kuto guys, and welcome to the bridge to Princess Ivai. Then Rutendo Sisvaru Jeko said, imagine your sister inadvertently outing you kuti you're a big fan usina kutenga kana ndiro one isaza apa uri munhu mukuru ane 40 years. Yee! Blessing Nyazire bought a plate yesadza. Alista Mkondiwa bought a plate of sadza and stay feeding the streets a commoner. Then someone bought 3 more plates of sadza and this is for the stray you caught from Nigel. Big shout out to my bro doing big things in Australia. Then Mamoyo bought no ndo vanhu vakatengera macoffee last week ndandaro toverenga vanhu last week. But yeah, big shout out to you guys. If you also want to support the podcast, you can do so on Buy Me a Coffee /Black and Forth. Right, now that we have that out of the way, ladies and gentlemen, please allow me to give a special welcome. This person has a very strong CV. Strong bridge, bridge, but vachirema out there in the world. This person, to most people, you guys know her as a broadcaster par excellence. She has been a leading voice in radio journalism. She has been a presenter with ZFM since some of you guys might know her as an MC. Just last week she was the MC kwa Jabriza. She's parikuitwa zvekuvhurwa mabank ndiwo vanenge vari ma-MC parikuitwa brand unveiling yemota yemajagwa ndiwo ma-MC par excellence. She's the brand ambassador weProton. She is also the brand ambassador where Sherry. Am I pronouncing it right? There's a new Mota Zimoko. Being on TV, you used to host Coca-Cola on the Beat. You've also co-founded a platform that allows entrepreneurs to Red Market Sunday, where people can use the hashtag to share their wares on, and it's been pretty successful in running for quite a few years now. Isusu tiri vanhu vanobalansisa takaunzira mabhebi ichi tongai, but nhasi tati ona pabridge ichi, this is for majita, for my face. Big shout out to mfesi wangu. I did this one for T Madzika. This episode is for T Madzika. Ndakuunzira your old time pabridge. Give it up for my Hannah, ladies and gentlemen.
Oh yo.
Can I do that? Was that allowed? Was patented or something? Yeah. Can you give me compliments with and not pick up makeup?
I feel like I did you a disservice there, where inini I'm more accustomed to you this way, right? But I realized Kuti, people know you as MisRed because I've seen you but then,
Yeah.
because because we're recording this in the morning. That I don't book to call a gezere. And what? Uridang wa
Ah.
gezer. Because honestly, fandatanga, but I was like, Uriwang. And nga scared. That I don't book to call Uridang wa gezer. Urida say. Why would I say? Also, DP say. Koru gezere.
Aiwa. Ndakama msoro nhasi ndapfekawo maearring ndapfeka scarf wona scarf for records. Yeah. Can I do that?
There's nothing that's not allowed. Please. Pabridge.
Oh, okay. Okay. Speaking of Bridge, you are right. We come from far here.
Do you know what? There's a. That's where I want to start, Inini. That's where I want to start because I want to correct the misconceptions you have created, Samantha, because of your success.
What do you mean by the misconceptions I have
the
created?
Misconceptions you have created. And on that Israel, so someone is going to be like, MisRed knows how to say hoyo.
Oh, yeah.
So we want to create welcome to the bridge, Queen Shumba. Really say.
Mushasha ndandanita nekugara pama terrace. So I thought it's good for me to come out because I'm like a big fan, by the way. I don't know if a lot of people know this, but I really love you guys. I loved you from before this podcast on stage, the other Sadza one and this one. So you're like, yeah, you're royalty in my world.
I'm Inini, I'm not, you want to, but the reason why you're here is so that we can address you. You were one of the most vocal people in our TikTok comments, right? You were one of the most vocal people in our TikTok comments. Uchiti, I see your pronunciation. That's not how.
But it is.
Top 5 list iri wrong. So I thought let's address this pavan. Let's address this bridge. What do you mean? Kana uchiti machawon? Hands machawon.
Okay, first and foremost, I'd like to just help you understand. It's actually Sharon's. That's the first part. But it's Jarata and Nabasa because they're not even number one anyway. So that's besides the point. Right?
But unozvizira kupi? Tese takakukurira kumabvuku. Iwe unozvira kupi? Kuti anonzi maSharon.
Cherera, indakazobva earlier than you, but ndakazobva ndopane point kuti mabhuku ayadmit takazvarirwa tese koko, but pane kaplenty in which takabva tazoenda kusamura and then the north of Samura saka soravo.
So pakubva ipapo ndopo wakasangana nemapronunciation ari
aiwa
right. Ndobva wasiyana nesu.
takasiyana nazvo kumabhuku.
You grew up in Mabvuku. I think that's one thing that me and you have always centered around, like in our friendship, where we when you say Mabvuku rutaura kupi kwacho, so that people understand it's not just
it's kind of Mabvuku Tafara. Let me put it this way, because a lot of people, because from my dad's side it's Tafara, from my mom's side it's Mabvuku, because my grandfather's one got my cook, anon's my cook, not my chefs. These days one's my chefs, but one got my cookie who Borodil, and then so my dad's family stayed in Tafara, my mom's family stayed in Mabvuku. Then they met, and I was actually born Tichigara. Kwakamunhu, my goodness. But kwakamunhu, aiwa, patokure uku. Isusu tiri kwekuzasi. Kunonzi chi? Pachinzi chi? Kuti kwakamunhu mani, padhuze nekumaraini Naspoti.
Patafara shops pama shops.
Kwete kwakamunhu, kune kumwe
Kuhanta.
Kudhuze nekuhanta. Exactly. Kwakabasa.
Right.
Pahanta ipapo ka, muna Mutua, ndo maraini Gogas. Right? So I was born Kutafara, and then kuma 85. My grandparents also stayed there. And then literally, I had no because my dad was a banker, so he was on the come up. And then literally, so he started as a teller, and then he became like a manager. Then he went to treasury. So from the time I was born, I went to my man's mushroom.
This story is not taking the 10 that I expected it to. Yeah, it's not really Do you know? I've the thing that I've always been interested in Nini as like I'm a big fan of history, right? And I've always been
Mhm,
fascinated about the difference in generations. Kuti, the Mabvuku that you know is slightly different, or maybe completely different to the Mabvuku that I know, in terms of maybe
mhm,
like the Pamai Sangana or the things that you were listening to. What was happening in Mabvuku at the time in terms of like music? Is this because at some point Zimbabwean music just became prevalent in terms of like that's what we're listening to, but that wasn't
mhm,
always the case. Like, and
mhm.
I'm talking before even maybe Fungwadze Radio Zawe. What were you guys listening to during this time that you were in between Mavuku and Tafara and Madedo? Like, what were the young? Actually, that's a ridiculous thing to say because me and you are not that different. We are not different at all
We're
in
really
age.
not. Yeah.
Like, I don't know
Please
why I
make sure
tried to
people
set
know
it up.
that because you don't make seem like ndakanyanya just because ndine more vana doesn't mean kuti please relax.
It was I stopped myself because I was like, that's a very
Mm,
outlandish line of questioning. Like, what am I doing?
thank
But
you.
like,
Yeah.
what was the happen? Because the reason why I'm asking is because me and you, we didn't live in Mabvuku at the same time. But
Mhm.
what was happening at that time in your Mabvuku? What were you guys?
So kwanga kune ma dances aita kuma hall. I don't know if you remember that
Mm,
period.
my
So I had
DG.
my cousin. I had my cousin ainzi Dafadzo. So Dafadzo aiba more than Clifford. Anyway, Dafadzo aiba more than toenda kana like pa namuzi kuho waneri. Iri padhuze nepa Mabvuku high, right? That was like
Yes.
deep, right? Oh, tegunoenda kana kuwater world. I don't know if you ever attended the Masimadi and
I never
yo,
did.
come
I never
on, what do
did.
you mean? You missed out. You missed out.
No, remember Gucci isusu tantiri mu camp ka tantiri mu
Oh,
police
yeah,
camp
no, that wasn't gonna
tantiri
happen.
police camp saka mapurisa
Yeah.
angane kamwe ka notion kekuti pangoita doro pangoita ningirikini mai wii I never
Kudini,
attended CMAD.
kuma afternoon session. Anombobvira zviita.
Even inonzi chii yaitwa kuagricultural show iyi yaitwa musa
Oh,
Saturday
oh,
big dg raizoitwa handinambovira ndare experience.
oh. Kandoro, we need
The
to do
only time
this. We need to have
andakatoenda
like a.
I need therapy.
Hmm,
I need
you
therapy
do.
because I need therapy because the things that I missed. So and at the time is this
Hmm.
what's hot during this time? Is it hip hop or is it dancehall? Jamaican
It
dancehall.
was like at this time it was dance hall, and I
Mm.
think urban grooves was starting to find its legs
Mm.
in the context of stuff. So I remember seeing Nana Roki when they're still like, Nana Pauline when they're popping off and Take Fizzle. Oh my God, you know. But before we go further, I'd like to make an appeal. Kune
Yeah.
team rangu reSilver Bridge kuti ndandikumbira kuti tingoitawo kafund kekubatanidza mari yekuti Kandoro amboita experiences that he missed. I know kuti hakusisina simad, but we can find little things to do naye kuti aite catch up
No,
nevamwe because I feel like akarasikirwa
please.
neperiod yanga asina kuita zvese izvozvo. So if you are listening right now and watching, tanga chikumbura kuti mubatanidzewo yamunokwanisa
No,
mobatanidza toiswa mukomana something. Mm.
honestly, this needs to happen. If I count the amount of things that I missed out on, CMAD ndakapotsa agriculture show. The only time that I actually went to agriculture show ndaitoperekedza vana vainzi perekedza to my cousins to dig. And at that point, everyone everyone had moved on. Hanamuvira ndaenda Kotko.
Ah,
Kotko ndakapotsa.
wangu.
Kotko ndakapotsa. What else was a big what was
That
Kotko
was the
like? Walk me
thing.
through. What was Kotko like? Walk me
Kotko.
through.
Mwari ngaundibate. Ndanga ndabva kuwana license yangu at 60 ndakaba mota mndana. So,
Right.
I used to do these ridiculous things. Ndakaba mota, and my mom was like upstairs, right? So she was pumped
Yeah.
and she was at home. Ndikarivhesa motika chiti anondongorivhesa kuti izoklinwa kuseri chichichi nasekuru.
Yeah.
Kutorivhesa motikari ndikutoti sekuru ndikumbura kuti mubvurowo gedhi ndangoenda hangu pakona ndangotenderedza motikari kungoti ingoita uyo ndabuda gedhi nadhiraivha ndaenda kukotco guys.
Wait. Go back. Pauri kubuda apa uchiti ndangorivho wakatorova rig rekukotwa here kana kuti wanga washafa masini mota uchiti
aiwa bhegi ranga rakatocheze because handiti motikari inge iri mugaraji saka ndakavhura boot
right
ndakatanga hembe
fair right
reverse ndoti no, I just gotten my license, so it's important kuti ndivese ndimboona kuti
ndimbogara ndingori
motikari
fit
inoshanda sei.
match ready
Yeah. Ndakadhiraivha with my chest ndikabuda, mai vangu vachindiona upstairs vakadai vachiona kuti ndabuda nemotikari. Apa ndakazozorwa kuma6 and
so,
whatever came I was ready for the consequences kuti hamene muzara
right
wangu ndovapira sei, yacho chapira sei, So
but
I think at
kotko
this point my
ndikuenda
parents were like, hakuri kuna ndichienda, hapana. And at the time I was one of the very few people that was driving, so it was like a whole thing, and there were no girls really driving like in my class. So I was like, the guys were driving, but there were no girls. And I was looking fresh. That was my arrival. It wasn't about what I was wearing. The fact that Nandi motikari bo, and she drive a motikari ambos, njera kotiko, iwe. Ndairira mana, ndairira.
So, but yakapera sei nyaya iyi? What happened to you? Because I know kuti Zim parents don't do the whole you're grounded. Or maybe
No.
what happened?
So, in my parents, I think they were tired of me because I'd been doing a lot. I just saka ndasvika kumba paipai kuma6 andi ndakamira kuti kusvibe kuti ndizongopaka handiti ndozoenda hangu, because where I used to sleep was the other section of the house, so I could get away with getting in and no one would see me ndapinda, right? So ndapaka motikari padanga vakamira vari pabalkoni pao, saka vakatondiona ndichitasi ndichidrive, ndaenda
Because apa wabuda
kudhim kwangu
nemota
ndaloka
obvious.
door, ndaloka door paipai kuzwa come out. I'm not coming out.
Might have a back and forth bedroom.
Come out. And then my dad was like, I'm not having this. This is my house. I'm going to break this door, And for sure, my dad broke the door and then he came and got me. At that point, my dad did not beat me. He's like, you know what? Waja is sitting. My dad got, so then he cut all my hair off. And he didn't even cut it off nicely. That's another level of gangster, bro. That's my hair,
How old are you? What is this, Form 4?
Yeah, I'm 16. And I'm at Heritage.
Right.
So it's like, apa masala there, and my dad's like, you're going like that. And there was nothing I could do. So everyone now was like, are you okay? Or what happened? And, and then the teachers, the headmaster calls me into his office. Why would you come with your hair like this? And then he called my dad, and then my dad was, I'm so, you know. And then I let him know I got some gum in my hair, so I was just trying to cut my hair off, and then everything this was not what I was telling my friends. So I just had to, find a way to but it just didn't work out. So maybe I'll get my hair done some stage, Kind of.
The contrast between being the coolest kid per weekend and on Monday now you're showing up.
But and I was driving, so it was like, so now people started putting things together that I got that one, I got that one.
I don't know because also remember Uti, when you showed up on the Saturday uchi driver my haters are not far. My haters are not.
I'm totally ready to see.
My haters were ready. I would have been in that camp. But you also just brought up something important in the difference in Mskanzwa yedu, like I think back then. Yekuti vanu vaiba mota at that time on the premise yekuti I just got my license. Like it was almost so important to get your license at 16 just so you can have one reason off, one excuse off and I compare that to this day and age where it feels like having a license is not as important. You just need to know how to drive, and people are taking to the
Mhm.
streets, and people are it's just it all mskanzo yedu is that something that you find common? Mskanzo yedu almost felt like a little calculated, like we would almost like think no kuti
Think about
ndikwanise
it. Look, I'm doing it because of that, and then zvozodaiwo ndikaenda kukotko ndikaonekera ndopedza ndoenda kumba ndonorohwa zvopera.
you know,
Nowadays,
because
yo.
because even like when you think about it, kuti, there was no fascination within our generation yekuti, with fascination with drugs per se.
Mm, mm.
You know,
And
there
it's
was
quite
no
weird because even now I'm like, "Saka vane vamawana kupi?" You know, it's almost kind of taboo to me. Like, is there like a corner? Is there a
if
person? How do they
if
know?
exactly.
Ah, it's wild, but we did not have that. The most we could do was probably Doro. You
Oh
know, that was
yeah,
as far as it would go. But even that, the Muscats was the joy.
mskanzo was the excitement of ndakwanisa kupoya, ndakwanisa ndine
Mm-hmm.
mkomana, ndabafoni.
Hmm.
Remember mskanzo
That's
yekubafoni,
yo.
yekufona pa landline yakakiwa. Do you remember? Did you ever do that?
I need to tell you, I need me biri
Uh,
yakamboya kumba kwedu ka. Guys, biri roro. Until today. Zvandaita manje, I had pocket money ndikatenga a receiver. So it had gotten
right.
so bad with vobonga vakabvisa vakati vana they don't need this landline because of these bills coming. But ndakatenga chireceiver cheche. Saka what I would do now in the middle of the night, ndaenda ndonoita se don't connect. Or in the spare room
Samantha,
pakapane pekuconnect. Guys,
Samantha. No, Samantha. Wait, nyaya dzako dzine problem yekuti dziri kutangira pakati.
sorry guys.
Pfungwa dzekutenga receiver dzanzabva kupi? Wakaitenga
Sorry
kupi?
guys. There was a shop for Sam Levy. When we still called it Semi Levy before it was called Sam Levy.
Nah,
Mazwani ndakuudza
ndezvekushaya
vana
zvekuti
Semi Levy. Ndaenda Semi Levy bye. And
mm,
there was it was like a Panasonic shop or something, an electric shop. And they used to sell Panasonic. So there was a receiver that was on special. Back then it was like you should remember my $20 notes. I can't my $20 notes guys. And my $20 there I think I should turn and it's
mm,
$20. I didn't my dad had been giving me money, dollar, my 50 cents, 50 cents, right? Then my $5 a dinner. One day he gave me my $5 a dinner. Muntu wanga waita dhiri ripi. Bwana mari yakawanda. Ndikabva ndapiwa chi ma5 aya akawanda. Ndaenda kushopi
yeah,
yePanasonic ndatenga receiver yangu iya. Ndaenda ndaisa mubhegi mangu ndawandisa because foni yangu yabviswa. Saka ndaona kuti I need to communicate nevanhu vangu. Saka ndese ndanotenga receiver yangu. Ndaenda paipai ndatenga ndafamba because my house used to be about 10-minute walk from Sam Levy.
mm.
Ndaenda kumba ndiri kuplaga in ndikutaura chi nevanhu. Usually it was boys, but anyway. So
I mean,
I so ndiri kushandisa foni iyi people go in their heads there's no receiver, so there's no calls going in or coming out. And I used to tell people,
yeah,
call me at this time because that's when I'll be by the phone. Don't call on any other
yeah.
times, just in
But it's
case.
one.
Right. Right. So bhiri rauya paipai and lucky enough ndindakaita se ndindakaibata because postman had come. I was right by the gate. Ndaona
Yeah,
kuti pane bhiri rauya, right, and it looked like a long one.
yeah.
Ndaenda paipai ndataisa guys, this is not an amount my father wants to see. So in my head I just thought if he didn't see it, didn't matter, they're not going to cut it, they're just going to continue billing and that's it. I don't know why I didn't think kuti pachazoita credit control ichazotanga kuti bhiri needs to be cheap, needs to be paid.
This will be paid. Yeah.
So here I am. Ndikutoita go about my life. I think this is about a month later, and then my dad says, "Pane bhiri randaunzirwa credit control PTC." I think back these days it was still called PTC. It wasn't yet called
Yeah.
Tel One. Okay. Ndavakumbira kuti vatumire statement yemanambers akafonera. Guys, I wasn't okay. I said, I was not okay. Baba vangu vaitora each number voti right takufona vodaila Number zia. Hello. Depanani panapa. Okay. Pane mwano here ane this amount of age. Vanobva zoti chi? Namba dzangu. So then it turns out, kuti the majority of that bill was me. At that point, my father was done. He just said, Dudano, manangu, the best we can do is pray for you. Takuna makira.
Andozvauri.
Don't there's no amount of cutting your hair that will help this situation. And I think he actually just genuinely gave up, you know. God bless my mom, because my mom, she just said, you know what, I know your name is Kanga, but I'm going to continue trying, you know. So
Right.
at that stage, I think my dad was just like, maybe, whatever. Yeah, after that bill. Saga, Masi, I think
You-
Muskanzo, it was very different because just Muskanzo, I wouldn't now, even you yourself would be like, okay, it's a very different level. You think you know, but we don't.
we really don't, and
We
it
don't.
gives me, it stresses me out. Like with
Mm,
with your kids, like what are you doing to anticipate that? Because I mean, as parents, we always try to say, no, 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 it won't be my child, like it
mm-hmm,
won't be my, like, but like, what are the, is it so much, could they are not, or they strict social media rules kind of, havana phone kind of, are you more like, let me anticipate, let me, handikunyime phone but in my
mm-hmm,
restrictions green, or is it, I'm going to try help you experience the world with you. I'm not going to
mm-hmm.
be what are you doing? Because I can imagine for you as a mom to girls, like, what are the, is, are you more stressed or are you more relaxed? Because I'm familiar with this terrain.
To be honest with you, I'm more stressed because I know what I did. So I start off by looking at myself, but okay, you were one day at that age. And it's unfortunate because with the school systems and the schools that I go to, they're required to have laptops, they're required to have iPads, they're required to have
Yeah,
certain technologies. So you can't really run away from it. Um,
yeah.
I genuinely do try to have a conversations with them, but I don't think anyone can ever fully say, "Ukuthi I've got the formula or I know how to do it or "Ndakatotibvina vana vangu they are," because pakadaro ndo paunotodisappointwa nemwana zvekuti vega unoti yey, you know. So I genuinely put it to God and say, Mwari ndimi muri kuziva. Zvandisingazivi inini, sort it out.
Ayoga,
And
ayoga,
um,
but
mm,
you're not allowed to stress God like that, ka. You're not allowed to stress God
aiwa,
like
that's
that.
why he's there. Aiwa, inini I'm
You're
doing
not.
the groundwork. Mwana unofanira kuita zvinhu zvacho zvandisiri kuziva, zvandisiri kuona, ndiwo anofanira kuita seintacid. Because handingaite zvese here pasina, ndaragoti ndeyatondisvitsa panapa pamufungo. Dai pasina godya. Pakaipa,
but
pakaipa.
but when your
Mm.
father said the same thing, what was your reaction? What was your reaction? Because you are now,
Do you
you're
know?
throwing the towel to God early. You're
Mhm.
w-
Do you know
you
what?
you are throwing the towel early. You're consulting
Mm.
God early. Hana zvavati vaita. They haven't stolen the car. They haven't havasati vaba phone. No, hona mudhara God ka induziya. Saka so time, I said, do you think that's
Ah,
fair, Samantha?
it's not, but Teresa, Parisava Madara man. In any, by the way, I'm a single parent, so it's very different from other people who need someone to just say, mwana wapo. And it's, you know how
Right.
our parents used to be like, even if I did something bad, my dad was very quick to say to my mother, mwana wapo. Then my mom would also be like,
Yeah.
as mwana wapo here." But in, I don't have that option. You put some women would say, hey, mwana
Right.
wapo. You know, it's just me, myself, and I physically, right? So how physical ipapo, I can never fully do everything. Mnenge mandinyanyira mana. Usindidandacho. But what I can do is just say, Mwari, ndini musoro kuziva zvandiri. Pane zvinhu zvavari kuita, zvamuri kuziva inini. Saka inini do the things. And also I've got like a lot of sisters. I've got a lot of
Yeah.
my mom is very active as well. My cousins are also very active. So
Yeah.
handizoti ndiri alone, but vanhu
There's a
vasikana
support
vane
system.
bp. Apa Hannah is tall, right?
Yeah.
She is growing. Her body is, she's got a beautiful body. She's a beautiful girl.
Yeah.
Yeah, ne?
No, wakati no, mdara God pindirai quick, please, because
so she's turning 16. So, you know,
does she have a
it,
license
it,
yet?
it scares me. She's doing her provisional soon. So, doing me futhi
Cool,
andinenge my issues
cool,
nayo.
cool, 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 cool.
And
You
so that
also have
at 16.
you also have a few cars in the house, so I mean,
Yeah. Funny akatotaipirwa
I,
kunzi ko
I,
iya netaiva yangopakwa. Toita say.
but
I wish we
are
had
you
that
going
many
to be
options.
a cut your hair parent? What do you have a default? Like kuri kunzi
You know,
zvaitika.
I, I don't. But you know what? I'm one of those parents that could, if you want to go, I always tell them,
Yeah,
be honest enough to tell me if you want to do something, do it. But
yeah.
for whatever reason, I'm blessed with the fact that vanondudza zvese. Sometimes a bit too much information. Um, I remember there was a
Like,
boy
oh,
who used to come into our road. Time Monong. No, there's this
right.
boy. He keeps on coming to the road. Can you please talk to him? And then in my head, I'm like, what am I supposed to say to this boy? But I'm glad that they find it important to always tell me stuff. Avamirire kuti
Yeah.
ndizovabvunza. Yeah.
Mm.
So whether it's going out, whether it's needing money for something, they will always talk to me first. There's very little that they hide. They do hide, but it's not as much as you would assume.
Yeah, parenting. I still have a few years before I start having those problems.
Enjoy this
I, s-
period, please.
I
I
still have a
beg.
few years.
Mm. But it's fun. It's fun. You guys are you're gonna enjoy it.
Hey, I'm
Mm.
still trying to find out what kind of parent I'm going to be. Trying very much to be better than because in my parents were the no. Panga pasina ma negotiation akawanda. Pamba stombo
Mm-hmm.
nakana platform yekuita communicate. That's why mweya weundhurirani nekuda kungobvunza zvinhu zvinana nebasa rese ndokwaunobva, because my parents were never my parents were the education is the
Mm.
key to success. And also those parents hakuna,
Yep.
there's nothing education is the key to success. Even sports izvi haiwa akutorina from crash. Education is the key to success. Andiona
Mm.
saka patakazoitawo tikazopedzisira taakwatiri, the only thing that convinced my parents kuti this is something worth ningirikini is panozoita show up padheni wakabata kagrosary,
Mm.
wakabata kagrosary wazoningirikina. But my dad wasn't even convinced negrosary. Pandakazovatengera mavhiri
Yes.
emota yavo
Nobody was like, it's
yajigwa,
okay, it's okay.
that's when
Mm.
he was like,
Mm.
let me hear you out. Not it's okay, let's
Mm.
see. Now I'm
Are
looking
you
at you.
serious?
Yeah, let me hear this out. That's when he started coming to shows. But then my dad, now I think the thing that got him, he
Mm-hmm.
doesn't care. I think it's the novelty of kuti.
Mm.
He will look around at a show like vana vakagara kuuya
Mm.
kuzotirira iwewe. I think he's fascinated with that world of the attention. Like, what do you mean kuti vanhu havabva kumba kuzokunzwa
Yeah.
uchitaura zvauri
Kuzokuonera
kutaura izvi?
uchitaura. Yeah.
So even
Kuti uri
even
kudechii?
even when I
Mm.
make fun of, because I always make a point where whenever he's at the show, I will make jokes
Mm-hmm.
about him. And most people are always
Mm-hmm.
like, well, does that Ningrigan? No one loves it more than my father,
Mm.
because he then
Oh,
uses
wow.
as a reference point. No.
Yes.
So for me,
Yes.
for him is the attention
Mm.
economy that's around. He's very fascinated with that whole thing.
Mm.
Um,
Nice.
Nduda, I want to ask you very important
Mm-hmm.
question. Ndakaona there's something that came to my attention
Mm-hmm.
mu mapepa now,
Mm-hmm.
Samantha. This is a
Yeah.
this is a head this is a headline from H Metro.
Mm-hmm.
It says, "Who is Zimbabwe's hottest celeb? Male celeb." Our female journalists. Let's not let's not start there. Don't laugh like that.
Listen, I was not part of this group of women who decided who they believe. Yeah. And why weren't you there actually? Good question.
So
Mm.
so on this, even on the headline, there's Mudiwa, there's Sean,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
there's Ja, there's Tino
Mm-hmm.
Chinyani. I don't recognize this other guy, but it looks like a fitness
DJ
guy.
Iroh.
I don't. Oh, is that DJ Arrow?
Mm-hmm.
Right. Saka wambotipa list yako Samantha top 5 mabisho in confidence. Tipo top 5 yako quick. Tipo chingoti
Listen,
gaga. And don't give
listen.
us that whole. Some of these are my brothers, and I know.
They are my brothers. Apana kana
Yeah.
wani pabo. Wangu
As
pabo.
a
Apana.
give us
Apana.
as a journalist, Samantha, as a
Mm-hmm.
as a leading voice in Zimbabwean media,
Broadcaster.
uh, a broadcaster. Let's who is the hottest?
First of all. Kuchara vanhu very public here, cannot in private, or we're specifically talking about celebrities. Let's just find the confines of the hotness.
I think ukatipa tipe public, because ye private ndoona sekuti inoona kupinza busy pakuti unoona kuzonzi ndakanzwa kakuti papodcast kuti wakati towards famsa senyaya dzacho. Because
Right. Now that you ask me, thank you so much for asking me such an important question at a very important time in our history as Zimbabwe.
no, you have to say juncture
Yeah.
at an important juncture.
Or at this juncture, at this very important juncture, I would like to categorically say this will be a very biased list, but it is also not a reflection of my full and entire thoughts because I didn't think about this. Okay? Disclaimer,
Right.
please. Disclaimer.
Right. Disclaimer.
Right. So I'm in no particular order because I cannot,
Right. Fair.
and based off of people that I've met and how they smell. I'm so bad. Like if you smell bad and you look good, you're cancelled automatically. And there are
Right.
guys who look good but smell.
Mm.
On that note, um, again that's in no particular order. My God, why?
G-
What is the reason? What is the reason?
Munashe, you and Munashe would be best friends right now, because Munashe gives 17 disclaimers before he says anything. Saka, he would be so
Because
happy right now to see somebody who also is on the
because
same level.
because those are my blogs, right? One of our big portion babu. MisRed speaks. Ah,
Hey, MisRed speaks, yagai.
no, stop it! Don't do that. Like, just don't do that. Don't, So I don't want to create a headline like that. Which MisRed speaks, and then
Yes.
van one. So that
Yeah.
disclaimers are very important for context. Kuti kana vanhu vakuchagania yacho in full, vane context and it.
Yeah.
That being said, public figures. Oh, can I put Makanaka? It's Makanaka Charamba, right? The
Makanaka Charamba.
runner.
Yeah. Makanaka Charamba. The runner. Yeah.
Yeah,
The one. Okay.
yeah, yeah.
Okay.
Good looking chap. Yeah, yeah. Reggae Jean. I don't know if he identifies as Zimbabwe.
I mean,
Yeah.
he might not, but his name does.
The guy
It's not
from Chakuji, you know,
Bridgerton. Yeah.
Bridgerton.
Yeah.
Very
I
good looking guy.
Regerai.
Yeah, Reggae Jean.
Mm,
Reggae.
mm.
Where did he come up with? Okay, you know what? So Reggae. Who else do we put there? Freeman. I genuinely believe he should be in there.
HKD boss.
And this is again disclaimer. He walked into the studio. I was there. He was there for an interview, right?
Mm.
Oh, what he puts on, man. And in India, my sense, my perfume,
Hey.
bullshit. Yeah. Whatever he was putting on, boss. Yo, yo. If he was a 5, he became a 20.
Oh, yo.
Sure.
All right. Oh, yo.
Right.
Okay.
Um,
Yeah.
I think he's probably the people. you know, I would be doing a disservice to the people if I didn't mention Ja
Okay. Okay.
for reasons known to the women of Zimbabwe.
Right. Right.
Tino Chinyani, very good looking as
Right.
well.
Okay.
Who else can I put in that list? But Tatakwana 5 guys.
Yeah, Takwana 5. No, that's a good 5.
XQ
Okay,
is
XU
another
Baba,
one.
Mr. Puri is the number 1.
XQ. No.
Did you-
Iwe,
okay.
that's in no particular order. Which chico?
Okay, no.
Nokutema
No, I
lip
want to
gloss.
clarify.
Nokutema lip gloss.
I want to clarify. I want to
Eh,
clarify.
In no particular order, ndapota zvangu. Otherwise, MisRed speaks
I,
at Sweden.
I, yeah, no, that's a strong top 5. I think mazotipa 6 yenyu. I think the people of our
Because
bridge
vakawanda zve.
ndo vachazodecide kuti ndiani achaburiswa achaiswa
Yes.
sehonorable mention.
Mira,
Honorable
mira, mira,
mention.
mira, mira, mira,
Yeah.
mira, 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 mira.
Okay.
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 Andy no mota. Andy no mota.
Okay.
Reggae Jean. Tino Chinyani. Freeman. And who else would I put as my fifth? Ndakuza manje anditaura zvinhu zvawanda.
All right.
Naja. Depends.
Okay. All right. That's a strong 5. Anzi, please come challenge me when in. I also want to give a disclaimer in Wachu. Could
Mm-hmm.
I didn't ask you this top 5 because you are a woman. No. Please. It's a topical issue that came up in the week that yeah, I don't want somebody saying to me, I'm not tongai top 5. No, it didn't happen. Please don't Pabrida
Oh, Mutongai. Oh, yeah. But no, in all honesty, you know what? Let me just,
Yeah.
shout out to Tongai, by the way. I'm such a fan. If you're watching right now, Radi Agosha, yeah, I'll just fuck it. That's one Tongai Netflix 5. I mean, I'm like in space, in the spaceship, and I was like, from studio to eyes.
He's doing incredible. He's doing incredible.
Chimbomuri
He's doing
Drega, pp.
doing
Ipapo.
incredible. Incredible. No,
Yeah, Tongai Shirisa, yeah.
it's a I've seen you, Samantha, at a few Premier Soccer League games. I think describe to me the situation. It seems like in the past few, like this season especially, the last few seasons, there has been like a momentum that's been building up in excitement. As somebody who's actually experienced this excitement, what is the atmosphere like? Because true a prevalence, yeah, my baddies. Kubhora. Is it kuti bhora riri kusparka here kana kuti chii chiri kuitika chiri kuunza mabaddies kurufaro kunational sports? What has kwenzakadai?
So the first time we went to Vietnam for a Dynamos match, I was actually invited. She was like, no, Andeji. Actually we're in the car and then Andeji. I'm like, oh, okay. And then she was like, Vietnam. So in my head, I didn't even know what Vietnam was. That's the truth. That day, if I'm going somewhere, you know me, putting your VIP, something set up and right. So there's no Vietnam can even do that. What kind of saving? Oh, what is what am I saying? I was like, no, the VIP section is that side. Then the person was like, no, we're that side. So I was like, you know what? I'm a team player, Angie. Ndakaenda ndakazipfeka sunscreen saka I was alright. Ndaenda kuye kuVietnam toona ugege ananzi denana denana denana. Right. Guys, ndakaspa andisambombonakidzwa like that in my life. But mabhedhis ari kuamananisa kunyeberai vasikana vari kuenda kubhora. I remember on the day yandakaenda kubhora wigi yangu yanga yalusena ndikati ndambonogadzirwa wigi vasikana vaita makeup beats mabeats by Dre vairova kuti vaende kubhora.
Vachigadzirisa.
That is good, it brings a certain energy to the game. And I think PSL needed it. So it's important.
Because I've been watching even Mangoma highlights and Rukuona a local football, and I'm seeing some of the things that they are doing. Vakomana varutamba bora, like They're shooting from the halfway mark.
Missed by Muraremba. Taken by Michael Tapera. He can run with it. 3 versus 2. What a hit! What a hit! What a hit here by Michael Tapera!
Where did that goal come from, Willie? That small frame of body taking that ferocious shot.
I can't believe it. I can't believe it.
There are some of the dribbles there azviitike pasina mabhedhis vanhu vanenge vachitamba bhora ravo riri normal anoona vanhu vanenge vachitamba bhora ravo
celebration.
but
But
now
you may swear
mabhedhis ari
another
mustands
one.
and vanhu
They
vari
have
kuita
to do
joga
something.
bonito
They have to, you know.
like it's
Whatever. You know, vane tumastands, tuma celebrations to the interesting. Dribble. You're actually correct. Chinongoda motivation.
I remember going to Rufaro Stadium when I was Form 2 with my dad, and it's still a cherished memory for me. Like that, just hanging out with my dad. And I had always been bemoaning like the state of local football. There wasn't like it seemed like pakaitaka gap kubva kunana Evans Gwegwerere, Nana Sifas Chimedza, up until pakani pakapamboita kuti we didn't have any bona fide stars. Vanhu vainyorwa newspaper. Kana kuti you remember kuti kumabvuku paipa muchipfuura wanzi ukaona tuvana tuchitamba bhora kuti ini ndini Francis Chandida kana ndini James Matola. There wasn't any of that. And recently now, I think last few years, you've been hearing certain names, vana knowledge Musona, so I like it. For whatever reason it's happening, I like it because I think bora it
It's
almost feels like
necessary.
it almost feels like bora dictates like the mood of the country. It offers
to a
people
very good extent.
It offers a distraction if people can go to matches and be excited. Unotomokanganwa 3 hours kanhamo kuti amai padeni hapana nhingirini kuti shit.
Ende zveshuwa ndakatombokanganwa kuti hey pakaipa kumba hakuna chakati fees ida kubhadharwa and also I think even just bringing it back to infrastructure development football as well. You find kuti Moors, they recently just did a stadium up in Norton. It spreads soccer out, and when there's money injected into it, there's a vibrancy that's there. So I think it's something that had kind of escaped us for a while. And it's so unfortunate because the teams that make up what the PSL is, or Zimbabwean football, are facing relegation. But that's another story for another day. But yeah, Dynamos, Cape United, Amsterdam.
unongochiwirirana nevanhu Samantha wobva wazokanda mashoko
akadai. Ndingotaura hangu zviri paground.
tiri 7 million pabridge ka hatisi kufara nemashoko 7 million
guys, we need to do something because
it's not looking good.
Historically, Doma teams they would make us wake up and watch football. Dynamos, it's a loss every week. It's not supposed to be that way. Not to say I support Dynamos, but something.
It's not looking. Also, I kept saying,
the point is, Dynamos needs to do something. It's not part of the conversation.
The funniest videos that I've been seeing is, when like the supporters were kept spanning Mirror Lloyd Chitembo just outside the gate. And so the first one that I watched, I was nervous. I don't want to lie. Because mamiro anga akaita, I was like, mamiro ekuda kungotaura na coach kana kuti vada kunzwisisa munzwisisiro, because I mean when you watch like footage like that from the UK, people usually watch out like stand out the gates because they want to say hi to their favorite player and watch them drive off. But mamiriro anga akaita team anga ane kakubloka road. Anga ane kakuti
we need answers.
Like what's happening? And yeah, I'm glad also I haven't been hearing like incidences yema hooliganism kubora, so that's good.
But you know what? Football is such an emotional sport, guy.
It is.
I understand it. I get it because no one wakatopfeka boots.
that has been happening. Another thing that I also wanted to ask you, taking the opportunity to go to the pan-up, I don't know if you've seen, there's been a raging debate with regards to copyright issues. Now, where we are, there's Zamura, which is at some point was trying to get like my cover charge for my cover bands and what, and that was a back and forth with regards to that. And then there was this band in Total, which I don't know if you're familiar with, you probably are. Bakaita, their big Legends Night, HICC. But prior to that event happening, there was a lot of noise about them being allowed to do it because they violated copyright. That was quashed. The night went on and it was a huge success. What was interesting to see was soon after, the engo yakabuda was kuti the family of the widows, like the widows were not happy that this band had were performing their husbands' catalogs at these things. And I just wanted to find out, could you, like, where are you on this conversation? Because it seems like it's with regards to this performance, their argument is we are honoring the heritage. We are trying to preserve. We are trying to get young people interested in this music. We are trying to justify. But then there's people that are saying, no, Murukuba, this is theft. You create your own music. Where are you?
Cover version says what it is. The cover version is you're not taking the song and making it your own. You're just performing it, right?
Right.
So I think the terminology says it, or anyone who comes up to try say anything else, I don't try.
Yeah.
I don't think there's absolutely anything wrong with honoring people through their music. And it's not music, yakagadzirwa manje manje. It's music from Kudara, right?
Yeah.
And if you can find a way to continue the legacy of the people who wrote the songs, even way after they're gone, I mean, what is so wrong about that? If we're to be very honest with each other, there's absolutely nothing wrong
Nothing
with
wrong.
that. Now,
Yeah.
Nyema widows, that's like you went under the carpet and you wanted
Yeah.
to hit people where it hurts.
Yeah.
Vanuga, pane munhu akatovaadvhaisa kuti aiyo inimika
Absolutely.
and I think sometimes information, the way it's taken to people, is taken in a way that is meant to demonize or to harm or to cause some sort of despondency or some joy.
Yeah.
I don't think the
Yeah.
information was taken to them with the right um, feeling or with the right intentions, right?
Yeah.
I think yakatoendeswa chitonzi right.
Takubata.
Takutoda kuti vanhu vatoita sei. Yeah, but I think if you're going to honor people, it's okay to honor people and their music. It's not like they're saying tada kutengesa music yacho for our own benefit. We're just performing cover music. It's like saying Michael Jackson's estate decides that I know vanhu vari kuzimbabwe vazoperformerei.
100% agree with you, because if we had a system like a music industry that was structured,
Correctly,
these
yeah.
cover artists would actually be bringing more attention to the
To the
streaming of that
music.
music,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
because
Yeah.
I mean, after all they can do is perform the cover, and the people that are HIC probably hearing some of these songs in that way, like, oh, I didn't know Varukita Shazam, Varukita whatever. They go and then Yatopa playlist. It means good that widow, if that music was probably attributed to good, they're getting royalties and whatever, they get to eat off this renewed attention in their husbands or partners' catalog. That's how it would work.
But is that how it was communicated to them, or it was just vanhu
No,
vakutoba
I
music
don't.
yenyu kuti vatoshandisa you get me?
Munhu anenge atosvika padhena achoti inzwaika maidembo,
Ndozviri kuita.
munhu uyu mungadai muri kutoridza gitare iri, hani muri kuona, but this person is taking food out of your mouth, handi muri kuona. Saka you need to issue a press statement, and I think it's sad how charged we make conversations these days. Like, you find it everywhere.
Yeah.
Every conversation needs to be, even conversation that is not necessary, that is politicized. No, zvazodai so uyu uri kuside kupi. But my favorite platform in as problematic as they are, I feel like I need my favorite platform is Zim Celebs, and I'll explain
Shut
why.
up.
Zim
Shut up.
Celebs, Zim Celebs are the least serious people in the world. Vanogona kunge vari kuripota nyaya itori serious kuti onai pane munhu abirwa kana kuti pane munhu abatwa nhingirini, vanogadzira kacarousel kemapictures kaya kane ndozvikuitika then but the last carousel inenge yanzi tiri kutengesa mafridge parenzi Africa.
That's what I was about to say, kuti Rains Africa. What is that thing? Rains Chakadaro. Guys, we are talking about a robot. And or suit something. I don't know the other suits company. Like, what are you doing?
They don't care. They don't care. Pane
No.
yesterday panga pane robbery in progress. There is a picture of mapurisa akatomirira robbery in progress. No, because those guys, no. Shout out to those guys, man.
Shout out to them. Wait, we need to do it like a proper shout out to Zim Celebs.
Big shout out to Zim Celebs, man, because I think, do you know the in equal measure, Zim Celebs causes as much havoc as they do relief. Like I appreciate Kuti, as much havoc as they cause, they also I don't know whether it's intentional or not, but they do enough to just bring you back. Like they bring enough silliness to just be like, you know what? We know what
It's not that deep though.
it's not,
Yeah,
you know.
but hey. Yeah. You know. And shout out to them. You know, I genuinely believe they're giving traditional media a run for their money. There are boardrooms right now that sit and say, "Did you see what Zim Celebs did?" You know, because they are on it. So shout out to them.
Half the stories that you then see, like half the stories that you then see everywhere else. Unotoona, you know, even the conversation that the there's almost like now it's getting to a point where, but even in the comments, there's characters in the comments that are I don't know, they're part of the team, but whatever the story. Whatever the story you want to see, like they are known. You don't know what these people look like, but they are so comments maybe post you.
Something
I
is wrong.
don't know. Something is wrong.
Do you know there's even I saw a CEO of a company. Angari my comment section says, bambo. Uncle. Not even like a very top end, like $1 million making company.
No, Zim Celebs is there for everyone. No, before I let you
Zim
go,
Celebs for the people.
Zim Celebs for the people. Before I let you go, man, who are you enjoying now? Like music wise, what you? We always try to leave by recommending somebody. What's the song that you would recommend? Bridge kuti aka kanamba kamuruka zive raka. Terai.
So I'm gonna go a bit of a different route because I know with the name Shdo Jam, I'm a speaker, Kunanja, I'm a speaker, Chi, but Abana Kunanja, Chaitika, Ish. There is a song that I heard in a season of pain for me.
Right.
And it changed the way I saw things, it changed the way I approached my struggle at the time. And it's by Joyful Praise. It's called Hallelujah Ngayubi Moyo. So when they're singing the song, they're talking about the Gorerino, Marifamba Nini, so that I sing a new song. So in this time of struggle, it was so beautiful because after everything was said and done, I had a new song to sing. And my hallelujah now comes from the heart because I went through it and that song reminded me. So that's the only song I play on my playlist currently. The only song. And it sounds strange because I work on radio. So it's like, what do you mean?
Yeah.
In my car, I have one song that is on repeat currently, and it's that song by Joyful Praise.
No, man. I don't want to. I don't want to keep you any longer than we're ready. But I just want to say thank you, not just for coming on and us taking your time. I want to thank you on a personal note. I don't know if you remember this. You probably don't, but there was during my mom's last few months, we were coming from the hospital, and you were on radio. And my favorite thing used to be like text you random things while you're on radio. And on this particular day, I asked you to give a shout out to my mom, which you gladly did. And I managed to record that moment.
Women Crush Wednesday, who are you crushing on? Can I crush on a lady real quick? A woman who gave birth to one of the biggest superstars in Zimbabwe. She gave birth to one of the best comedians that I've ever experienced. His name is King Kandoro. But Mrs. Nyakaza Makadenyu, you're my woman crush for today. I've got a special song for you because I know you're going through something right now, but I know that you're a strong woman because if you get mother, a guy like I'm strong. Was not, hey. Yeah, he's superstar. I give it.
Zimbabwe's finest
So to Mrs. Nyakaza, this is your song of victory because you're going to be victorious.
Yes!
What's happening right now? You're going to get through it because you're a super, super, super woman.
I am. Thank you.
I hope this song touches you the way it's supposed to touch you because, we love you.
It's my song of victory.
And you managed to give her, like, it was such an uplifting word that you gave her. And I saw what it meant to her in that time of pain, and she smiled. She was so fascinated. You know, you very rarely do we get to experience, because I think you're somebody who's so used to being on radio and speaking on radio. We often don't understand the power it has to people that are not used to that life, to hear themselves on radio and be like, what? That's my name. That's what's happening. And I could see that happening in real time. So I just wanted to say thank you so much for doing that for me. It's one of the videos that whenever I'm down, I look back at, and it makes me sad, but at the same time it makes me smile because she got to experience something like that. So I just want to say thank you so much. You're a special human being. We are so glad you are not stressing people. Maita mdara kakuregerera here. Mdara kakuregerera. Did you sit down and mukaonesana moms vakakuregerera here? What's, because I know with moms you've tried to bribe her with my trips and chakadaro. You've tried to sort her out.
You know? No, I mean, I love those guys, and I appreciate that they allow me to be who I am. I also try to just keep them away from how I intentionally keep my family away from socials and from my, public life. But I'm Darabo. Tabo.
No, thank you so much, Red Duva. Big shout out to you. I know
ngavakutumire mari yema-experiences kukangana kuti vanhu voenda kusimandi saka ndauta kugadzira something chavo.
Simba Madziva, if you're listening, please, the people, just one more time. But a lot of people would need to be involved. Simba Madziva need to come back. Harare City Council needs to put water per water world. It's a big
infrastructure mdara. We can make a plan. We can just put it somewhere. Kana kuenda kusekas. Kana kuenda somewhere. Tinokutsvaga. Kana kunozi downstairs kuyo kugawarere downstairs.
Gomba Archipelago.
Is it Akis or Archipelago? Archipelago. You know what? It's okay.
Anduona Samantha mweya wako. Anduona Samantha wako. Anduona mweya wako. Vanhu vaenda kubhawa yo. That is actually the reason why kubhawa kwako apedza kwakunzi kugomba. Because people vakanetsana neexplanation. Mumwe akati Archipelago. Mumwe akati Akis. Kwanza kugomba kuno. Takutotadza kudhakwa. Takutotadza kudhakwa. But nah, thank you so much. This was brilliant, and I know kuti all the gentlemen in the comments are going to say, "Aiwaga, anduona my baby. I fara paka tonga ipanapa. My baby ari kuti tuda part 2. Nesuo tuda part 2 because MisRed." As a matter of fact, I know the reason why they will say kuti tuda part 2. Aiwaga, we didn't get the full bridge experience because Mr. Chirisa wango asipo. Saka, we feel like we got, and they're right. They're right.
Yeah.
He has
When
to
you're
come
ready,
so please be ready.
When Momo's back, Please, can you have
Yeah,
me
yeah.
like some other time?
You have a great radio. Are you still doing what's it called? Guess the City.
Yeah. Oh my gosh, you really do listen. Oh wow. Yes, we're still
I
doing
listen
Guess the
in.
City. We're still doing the drive-through. We're still doing Odd One
Yeah,
Out. We're still doing speed trivia.
yeah.
We're still giving away my Proton the other day. Type my cell phones away. So there's a lot of stuff that gets given away on my show. So please listen.
Yeah, no, but thank you so much. Please say hi to the girls.
I will. Please,
And
Monifarisro
yeah.
Muriedu.
No, I will.
Amai.
Go over
Jesene
to Mboya